I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I tell you that. I can tell you some of the candidates, they went in, they didn't know the air conditioner didn't work. They sweated like dogs. They didn't know the room was too big because they didn't have anybody there. How are they going to beat ISIS? I don't think it's going to happen. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Secretary Kerry, that has absolutely no concept of negotiation, then goes into a bicycle race at 72 years old and falls and breaks his leg. I won't be doing that. And I promise I will never be in a bicycle race, that I can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
We are joined by our senior political editor, Steve Chaggaris, for more. Steve, good to see you. When was the last time you heard a speech like that?
It's been a long time, maybe from Donald Trump. It was that was pure Donald Trump. Not a lot of gray area with Donald Trump. Very cut and dried with his beliefs.
Steve, on a serious note, how does his entry change the race on the Republican side?
Well, a couple things. I mean, he's a celebrity, right? So he brings already this attention to the race, which probably it wouldn't have gotten at this point. You know, you're dealing with a non-traditional politician, a guy who's not a politician at all, coming into this. But you're also dealing with a guy who has a ton of money and is going to fund his own campaign. And the other thing is he's going to have a platform, because right now he's polling at a level where if the debates were tomorrow, he would be on stage with all these other candidates who've announced. And having Donald Trump on that stage with Jeb Bush and Scott Walker and all these others who are going to run, that would be in and of itself something to watch.
Some of these candidates could potentially stay in the race longer than they might otherwise because of big money, whether it's Donald Trump's own money or money from a big backer.
Yeah, there's a couple schools of thoughts there. The first is you're going to have these super PACs. Everybody has a super PAC that's working with, but not directly with, the candidates that are going to be funded by multimillionaire billionaires, and they'll keep people alive. You saw it in 2012 with Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, who both stayed in the race a lot longer than they would have normally against Mitt Romney because of the money that was behind them. But ultimately what winds up happening is these candidates also have to fund their own campaigns, and they're responsible for the spending and the debt that's incurred with those campaigns. And at some point, if these guys are losing really badly and they run out of money for their own campaigns, then you'll probably start seeing them drop out.
Steve, the theater of the Donald Trump announcement is one thing, but when he is, if and when he is up on stage with the Bushes or Rubios or Walkers, do you have any guidance from the campaigns on how those candidates engage with someone like Trump?
Yeah, I think there's probably going to be a lot of not trying to indulge him too much, but it's also going to be really hard to ignore him. I mean, look back at 2011 when he was really hammering Barack Obama on the birth certificate thing. I mean, you didn't see Obama really talking to Trump on that, but eventually Obama did release his birth certificate. So it's going to be one of those things where you're going to see Trump really hammering, especially guys like Jeb Bush. You heard him today talking about immigration and Common Core and how Bush is just wrong for the Republican Party on those issues. These are issues that already Bush is going to have to answer for, but if Jeb Bush is, or I mean, if Donald Trump is 6 feet away from him on a stage and yelling at him about it, he's going to have to respond at some point.
We thank you for not yelling in this segment, Steve. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too, Jeff.